Okay, yeah. It's Calicat the Calicatster, and I forgot to download the last episode of Boba Fett. Now that's being downloaded. And now I'm going to the fourth one here. This one was called The Gathering Storm. Yeah, yeah, it's, yeah, okay, basically, it's establishing the bounty hunter lady, contractor lady's backstory. He found her half dead and took her to those mechanic people that are half Borg, and they put her back together, or part of her back together. I'm not sure what they shot her. I guess in the stomach, maybe the leg. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to tell when they closed it up. But yeah, they gave her the black goo, I guess, to revive her or something, which sounds like something. There's a lot of Dune stuff in here. They mentioned the spice trading again later. Yeah, that's from Dune. Yeah, from Frank Carpenter. Anyway, so yeah. After they capture after they free the Earl, then they want to go get their fire spray. Fire spray vehicle. Silly name, fire spray. Disney sounding name. It sounds like some sort of it sounds like sort of like a device used to like take mold and mildew out of a bathroom stuff. Out of it, maybe Lucas liked that name for fire spray class ship. It's the SLAV One, basically. It's the SLAV One, which they wanted to change the name of to fire spray. Ooh. Because they don't like slave, which is not really what the thing was. Boba Fett. It's weird also that Jango Fett's character is playing Boba Fett when originally Red Letter Media pointed this out as well. They didn't want to review the episode. They just talked about it during their review thing, and they were all like, the original guy was skinny. This new guy is clearly like 20 years overweight. Was he in the Sarlacc pit for 20 years? So this is actually closer to time of... Was it closer to the time of the prequels? Because he said years. It isn't, and they said the armor kept the acid off of him, which I kind of said earlier. The modifier people had to be introduced earlier, but then he acts like later on when a bunch of them are flying on the Vespas. That got that from John Capino, the Vespas. I thought they were more hot-rodding teenagers from Dimension X, from that Dimension Trolls, than they were Power Rangers on Vespas. Well, yeah, there were more the Dimension X teenagers, the neutrinos. Anyway, so yeah, this one, some of them are has to revive the lady with yeah, I don't know, aesthetic. I guess, yeah, people don't really experience blood and guts and stuff and gore. Everybody dies. If they die without any gore. Disney has to say, wait a minute. At one point, they often say in the Star Wars stuff about Wookiees ripping arms off. Apparently, in the prequels, there was a scene in which Unkar Plutt got his arm ripped off by the Wookiee. They just didn't show it. But yeah, it's in the outtakes. Unkar Plutt, who was Simon Pegg playing that guy, the guy that had the Falcon, in the prequels. This one they show a Wookiee ripping off a lizard guy's arm. He looks like a Letamok or Darkrai, actually. From Distant Destiny. Wrong series. It's my series. It's not Lucas. It's from Canary Space. Wrong series, but okay, fine. They looked a little like the Gecko character as well, but yeah, they look more Velociraptor-like in my series than on this, but this one makes them look more like lizards, like alligator lizards. They look more like, they could be Termarelli, but they don't know what they call them. So you have this weird sort of, like, they they rescue the slave ship. They take it to the Sarlacc pit. They establish it's been years. We're not sure how many years. He blasts the Sarlacc pit. They get the armor. The armor's not there. So then they go on to raid the daimu's house compound. Send in a little transmitter thing. There's this weird scene where she cuts through bars through a thing. Like, rather think she's probably just there to, just to be there. So she's supposed to be like on a par with him, and he's clearly out of shape and as an actor, and not actually doing the fighting scenes. Is really obvious. But the healing bath part ended, and as I indicated earlier, so then they were in the present. After they kill the other daimyo guy, then they do the Godfather like scene with the table. The table's over the other Rancor pit, even though they should know that it's the Rancor pit. They've been in there before. They should know they put the table on top of it so that they can scare the guys. Something out of the Godfather, or he's not terribly convincing as a Godfather. How did he get from one point to the other? How did the Sand People stuff and the other stuff happen? Because in Mandalorian season 2, he gets the armor back. I'm assuming they're gonna have a flashback for that, but they've already established the other thing. So I don't know. He did get it back in Mandalorian season 2, and then he set himself up to be the leader guy. Yeah, so there's these oddities. It's not as cheesy as the last episode, but it is odd. It's not clear where that. Yeah, renaming the ship Fire Spray is retarded, because the ship wasn't originally a slave ship. It was just called SLAV One. SLAV. It was an acronym like AT-AT. Are we going to say that AT-AT is AT&T? So we can't use it? It's SLAV One. The SLAV One. I always thought it was SLAV One. That was the name of the ship. Not slave. SLAV, which isn't a word. It's an acronym. It means slave. It's silly that they changed that. That just makes sense. Something really lame. And the fact that the ship still works after like who knows how many years. For the same reason the Falcon wouldn't have worked either, but at least in the prequel story they could have, well, maybe he had it lying around and kept it up at the junkyard anyway, so that it kind of would still or fly. Like her plot in the prequel. No blood, just rips it off, it's lying on her. Yeah, it's kind of weird how they're like doing. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's just weird. I'm not gonna bother watching the Hawkeye series. I have no interest in watching the Hawkeye series. I know what's the next thing in there. Yeah, I have no interest. He's one of the. Like if they made a Green Arrow series. They did make a Green Arrow series. I wasn't interested in that either. I was like, yeah. I wasn't interested in the Punisher remake, really. I was like, yeah. Yeah. Apparently, one of the actors on the set of Moon Knight. I'm assuming they filmed some of Moon Knight already. They're already showing trailers. One of the actors apparently died. So they're kind of screwed. So yeah, they're gonna work that out. That weird trailer that aired was all bootleg trailers, and it didn't actually air. The one that actually did for the Moon Knight was the bootleg, and it was like really low res, and the other ones aren't. And it didn't show much. It had like the guy doing a Venom type of personality thingy, and then freaking out. And then a guy in a white outfit standing near a wall with some light coming in from somewhere. Ooh, that doesn't sound very exciting. It was like I was commenting earlier on the Eternals. The Brad Jones and the other Brad Jones and Doug Walker did a review of their worst movies of the year, and they reviewed the Eternals. Said it was one of the worst ones of the year. I wouldn't say it's the worst one of the year. And Doug Walker was commenting that he liked parts of it and thought he was the only one that did, and disliked other parts of it in the miniseries and stuff. But actually, he's not the only one on Earth that did like some of the Eternals. I'm the other person that liked some of the Eternals, and only some of it. It would have been a better choice to get a director that actually had done action movies, because I don't think she really knew how to do those. She's good with other stuff, with drama, I guess. No Badland and whatnot. But with a epic where you have to keep track of 12 people and they have to do and be like a godlike creatures, they were very dull through the whole movie. I thought they were. So yeah, the Eternals was in a similar fashion to this one. This one was very dark and dull in parts as well. Yeah, Disney and Marvel have to quit doing these night scenes where they're kicking down the lighting so that it's really, really dark. You can't tell what's going on, even though you're on like a TV with lights everywhere and everything. It's on a screen. You still can't tell what's going on. Don't do that. No, yeah, stop with these dark battle scenes. That's not cinematic if you can't tell what's happening. Yeah. So yeah, there were parts of the Eternals that worked though, and I thought that and parts of this one in a similar vein. You have with the Eternals, you have enough puppets and guys in masks and stuff as much. The Eternals, you have characters that keep flashing back and stuff. What I would have done with that is I would have, if I was going to include the flashbacks, which are really awkward in that movie, and the hero was not likable at all, I would have made it a mini series. I would have spread it out for 6 or 7 episodes. I would have made a mini series so I can introduce all 12 of these people. That's what I would have done. Similar to what they would have done. I would have made it one of these Marvel miniseries shows and said, okay, this is the Eternals, the show, Jack Kirby show. Eternals. And then later on, some of them would show up in the other movies on their own. But they are not the Avengers. They're not as interesting as the Avengers. So, anyway, but yes, I was one of those people that kind of liked it. So. Can't say that it sucked. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't the other Hulk movie. It wasn't the Dark World. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't Iron Man 2. No. Although some parts of Iron Man 2 were fun, like the scene in the beginning with the over-the-top Russian guy was kind of fun. But fake Russian guy. But yeah, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't worst of the year, certainly. And was going to rate a bunch of. And Red Letter Media also had said something about this other one. This Beef House. It's a parody show, but that was 2020. I don't know why that was in there. That's from 2020, not 2021. That's earlier. That shouldn't be on there. That's last year. Oh, yeah. Anyway. Beef House. That's like a gay porno. It should be with a title like that. Anyway, SLAV One. Okay, SLAV One. Come on. It's like when they discovered that slag was a slang British term, and they changed the name of the Dinobot slag to slog or slug. And it's like there's a British Transformers fan. They use awesome reviews, and he was reviewing the new studio series Slag and saying, "Oh, I'm British. I'm not at all offended by calling him Slag. He's slag to me. Why did you call him Slag? I'm gonna call him Slag. Whoa. It's not offensive. What the hell?" Anyway, so SLAV One is still SLAV One.